welcome back to the Mega Build series. So last time, if you watched, if you got a little bit off put by the time lapse, I can understand that. It looked a bit weird in the edit, so that's understandable. I got quite a lot of this area filled in. We have quite a bit left to do still, as you can see though. So I'm not entirely sure what level to fill this into. I guess we should go to this level and we'll have to kind of blend around here. By blend, I mean there will be a step because you can't really blend terrain in Timberborn. So I'm going to kind of just continue with putting in lots of terrain blocks. That's the plan, and then I'm going to be doing the work. You're going to be watching and hopefully enjoying the video. I'm going to put in irrigation channels. So the plan is that we will cut irrigation channels back here, and I'm going to have ponds a bit like this that you can't really see very well because it's dark. So let's speed up to the morning. So I'm going to put in little ponds to irrigate, but rather than having them fed by water dumps, we will have them fed by water from the water sources. I'm going to make them deep enough that hopefully they won't dry out during droughts, but then when a bad tide comes, I will use floodgates to close because we're still in update 5, so there's no sluice gates, and the bad water will just be shuttled out through some sort of main channel which will head towards the floodgates over here. I am really hoping that when we get a big colony in update 6, I'm not getting 21 FPS. This is not my computer, by the way. My computer is not at all working hard at this point. If I you might lose game sound while I do this, so bear with me. But I'm kind of curious. Nope, my CPU is barely awake and my GPU is similar, and I'm recording at the same time. So yeah, the game really, update 5 anyway, was really not particularly well optimized. Part of update 6 apparently includes optimizations. So I think mainly around how the physics uses the resources available. So let's hope that's the case. We'll find out as the update 6 save grows, and that'll be quite interesting, I think. Now I'm hoping, and I'm going to talk more about update 6 probably than I am going to talk about what we're doing on here, because the update 6 save is the current one is on normal difficulty. I am hoping that there are going to be elements of us being able to do some pretty big builds on there, because normal difficulty does make that somewhat easier because the difficulty is more normal. Lose in the name, I guess. Yeah, so I am hoping that the fact that this is probably going to be the last Mega Build series episode. It might not be. The reason I say it might not be is because I might not get it all finished this week. So we'll see. It might extend another week, because it takes me most of the week to record these videos because there's a lot of gameplay in the background. I never know at the start of the video where I'm going to end up, which is kind of a little bit random in terms of making a video like this. I mean, normally when you sit down to make something like this, you know, kind of like a normal Timberborn video, I'll play for about an hour, and at the end of that hour I've got a video. I'm starting to record this video Saturday lunchtime, I'll probably chat to you for another 5 minutes maybe while we put in more terrain blocks. I know it's riveting content to watch, I'm sure. And then I might not record again until significantly later in the week, because basically I'm going to need to find time to run the game at speed to progress this immense construction. Yeah, and it's going to take a while. And that time lapse that I had in the last video was, I didn't put it into the edit, and I didn't realize when I was finishing off the recording, I had recorded 4.5 hours of gameplay footage at that point, which is pretty crazy, really. And it might, they might have, the beavers might have achieved more if I was watching and optimizing things a little bit. But yeah, it's a lot of work to terraform these kind of huge areas, and that's why I've chosen to tackle some of these bigger building projects in a series like this, where I introduce bits, and then I play the game for a bit, and then I come back and we talk a bit more, and we rinse and repeat. And I think it has two benefits. Those two things again. The first one is that I get to play the game a bit more, which is always good. The second is that it lets me have some pretty crazy builds in videos that would be really hard to do in, I'm going to call it, more normal content. So there, for example, in this series, there has been an occasion, at least one occasion, I might have done it more than once, where I've started the game running and I've just gone out to work all day and come back, and the beavers have achieved a chunk of building that I've needed to be done. No, not there. The time-lapse footage that was in the last video was done over most of last Saturday. It was last Saturday, maybe last Friday. Not sure which day I recorded it on. And that's just not stuff that's easy to include in a more normal sort of Timberborn video style. And then on top of that, just some of the other more normal kind of bigger builds. It's sometimes easier to introduce. I'm going to build something like this, and then I get on and build it. Yeah, so I think what we're going to do here is I'm probably going to end up narrowing this down once we've passed the water sources, because some of it might flow off of the map this way. I'm not sure yet. I'm not sure how I'm going to work it out. But yeah, man, the extra oak forest I planted is barely helping keeping up with the demand for oak. So we need more maple syrup, which is interesting because we have quite a lot of maple trees. I'm not sure if I put in, and I could just build a bigger maple grove now. But yeah, you can see we are down to 3 FPS. which is the point where it is time to think about ending the save. But I really want to finish what I intended to do. So, yeah. What I might do is throw in a water dump over here and put in a maple grove here. Fix our maple syrup issue, but food-wise we're good. Water-wise we're good. Logs should be better once this kicks in. So that should help with that. If we hydrate this area, we can plant a bunch more maples. Need to be cognizant of the fact that this will have bad water flowing down it. This is all going okay, I think. So let's just check. I mean, well-being wise, they're getting all of their food. We've just ignored a lot of the other stuff. I've not done really any of the other well-being stuff. I've just focused on building really and transforming the map. And normally I would get into doing the well-being, but because I want to focus more on update 6, we're going to finish the build, which is turning this into the big farm that I spoke about doing. And that's probably going to be it, because this is going to be quite a bit. And yeah, I've been watching JC the Beard stream on this map. I'm way behind on that. Probably not helping actually that we are down a tapper shack. Let's prioritize the building of said tapper shack. That might help. Yeah, I've been watching JC stream on here, and I just kind of thinking knowing the scale of build time that I've put into stuff, and thinking how much of an uphill battle he's got trying to conquer this map whilst streaming it. Because it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. But he's doing some cool stuff with the building on there now with update 6. Obviously it lets you do some fun stuff. He's done a really cool, or he's working on a really cool build in here with the 3D water, that you can do much more interesting things than I've done. Anyway, I am going to get this done and plan out my irrigation strategy, because I need to work out what it is, and I'll be back. I'm back. I still don't know how many times I say that in one of these videos. So we have made some progress. Started putting in the farming. So I've blasted in some 3x3 pools here, here, and here. We're in the middle of a drought at the moment, but they have water channels that feed them with floodgates. There's two single floodgates. The first one is controlled by contamination, and the second one is controlled by water level. So that if there isn't water here, this one shuts to stop the water dumps from trying to flood this whole thing. These two are linked, so one water dump is trying to keep this whole thing full. So far we've got some sunflowers with some beehives and some carrots with some beehives, and this farm's not really doing very much at the moment, but we're just getting started. I've also started narrowing this channel because there is only a single water source here. So yeah, and you can see we've made a fair bit of progress on getting land in. I want to place another watering point here. Yes, I use triple dynamite for my irrigation holes. Yes, I know it is not required. I like to do it because that way, if in early game, if you ever run out of water, if it's 3 deep, it's going to take longer to evaporate if you're not putting any more water in. I know deeper water doesn't evaporate slower, but more water takes longer to evaporate. I had this conversation with people so many times as to why I do it. And yes, occasionally I hit the escape key too many times. You can see we've now blocked off this corner, and they're slowly filling this in. The reason I haven't just blanket filled this in is we need to do some work reworking industry, which kind of hangs over some of this. And yeah, they're progressing on this. I started putting farming in here because I was worried that as we block this off and remove the water, some of this might dry out. We'll see. Over here, I've built a few more refineries because I was trying to get the amount of catalyst we've got up. It's not really going up. The maple syrup is not really going up either. I planted the maple syrup forest, or the maple forest that I said I was going to do. It is at the point where it is producing maple syrup, and I have 3 tappers shacks to try and just get that maple syrup tapped as soon as we can. It's clearly not, because there are trees that have maple syrup on them, so I don't know if I could have even more, but you know, they're doing their thing. We're still cutting logs pretty much as fast as they're growing, even though we have a huge amount of forest. So that's a thing. I'll call that in. So let's detonate that. Let's plan for some water management. So we will want a stream gauge, 2 floodgates. We will want to delete that path, which is probably going to confuse a bunch of beavers. But we don't want to place a random piece of dynamite there, so let's detonate all of that. We'll get that done. We'll place a platform there. Then what I've been doing is basically building the fluid dump on a platform, putting a pit tank on a platform. We put a stream gauge in here to control the water level, and I'm not actually sure what I'm going to grow in this one, so we'll see. But I just want to enable the hydration of the area. So that's that. So that's basically trying to give you a quick update on what I've been working on. So the way we set these up is advanced, attached to stream gauge, low, open, 2%, close, and then this one is attached to stream gauge, and then if there's no water it closes, and then if there's, I think I do about like 0.4, it opens, and then I'll need to set up the water dump to be similar, but I'll do that once it's built. And hopefully the next time you see us, this will all be finished, and I'll work on finishing the farms up, and that'll be us finishing this series up. So the beavers have been super efficient and got this built, but we need to set it up. So water, obtain, needs a piece of path as well, doesn't it? That would be a good idea. And we'll prioritize it. So painful on here, and then we want to do advanced, attached to stream gauge. We want to pause if above about 2 point, yeah, that'll do, and we'll unpause if below 2.3-ish. There we go. And I think I'm actually going to plant the rest of that with oaks if we can, and of course we can, because we can just build another forester. I'm going to leave that water barrel there, so we will kind of jink around that. And we'll put a forester there. And we will plant oak trees across all of that. I have been filling these in, which we're going to do. And we will put in lumberjacks as well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we will mark them for cutting. Whether I'll be playing long enough for them to grow, who knows, but that would seem to be sensible. Yeah, look there. So we are mostly done with this side, and you can see I did narrow this a little bit. Tiny amount to do here. I suspect that we probably want to do another drainage irrigation pond about here. So let's plan for that. We might need another one in here. We'll see when we get a drought or a bad tide. And we should plant some more crops. So let's plant some potatoes. This will eventually go. I'm also working on very inefficiently blasting down here because we're going to build a big underground storage facility using the large warehouses. So delete you, put in the piece of dynamite we need there. Let's detonate you. We can do the triple platform, double platform. So basically same setup as the other one. Beam gauge, fluid dump. There we go. So you will be water, obtain, detonate you, path in, go, delete you, let's put the dynamite there. Yeah, you can see we're very close to having filled in what we're going to fill in, which is cool. Probably need some more farmhouses. I think I can delete that piece of path now. If it wasn't ridiculously deep, I would have put platforms through there and put the path on there. We could do that anyway, apart from the fact that there's a water source there, which we can't build over. I don't think we could maybe build over it with a bridge. Detonate. Platform. Path, and then we'll do stream gauge. Floodgate. Floodgate. It does flood for a moment as the water initially rushes in, but then sorts itself out. We can delete that bit of path, and then what we'll do, we'll put some triple platforms in there. And we'll put the farmhouse there. Good. And I think we'll plant even more potatoes in those two plots. And then maybe we'll do wheat in there. And I'm going to fill in that. And I'll do food. Wheat in there. And in here as well. There we go. We need to set these up. So we do attach to stream gauge. Fish. 1% open. 2% closed. Attach to stream gauge. Below tiny amount shut. above about 0.34 open. Then we go here. We attach the stream gauge there. There. Select it. There. We pause if above. Yeah, that'll do. Unpause if below. About there. That'll work. There we go. There's our farm coming in quite nicely. I am so tempted to try and platform that whole thing. That wasn't as much as I expected. So we'll then go. That should be. Well, why have I got doubles selected? Oh well, that sort of works. I'm being very inefficient there, but I kind of don't care because you won't see from above. There we go. Yep. And what I think we'll do is stop about there. And see if I can bridge that last bit over the water source. That would be a triple bridge. Yes. Awesome. And then what we can do is come down here, do here and here. And once that's all built, we can delete that path. Let's plant some wheat in there. Oh. I forgot to do the beehives. Oh well. That's pretty crazy that that's been filled in and is all green. We now have a catalyst, which is great. We don't have punch cards yet or paper. So I think I built some more dirt excavators as well because we were low on those. What I'm going to do is wood. Can I? Yeah, we could do that. Come on. And then just give them little path extensions. That's going to look a bit ugly, but that's not so bad. There are logs close by anyway. And then we can do wood printing presses here. And set those to all be punch cards. There we go. Good stuff. The performance of the game is tanking and my computer's barely awake. I also made a path up and over here to try and improve the efficiency of getting stuff from these across to here where they were needed. Oh yeah, build it in. Look at that. It looks quite different, doesn't it? It looks quite different. With all its automated watering. See, with a water source down here, we're a bit limited. What we could have done, what I could have done is have it cut across here and then dam this up so that in a drought, this holds water. I kind of like that idea. So the bad tide floods into this bit. I suddenly like that idea. And that would mean cutting all the way through there. Where is the water source? The water source is there. So if we cut through there, basically, and I put a large metal floodgate there. I know. Change of plan. Metal floodgate. If we went for a fine, no, we probably need to go as high as we can. Yeah. You put a and then we'll just have to rather uglily do. That's not going to work. That no working. I'll be back when I've got this set up and probably done because my neighbours have just started mowing. Okay, that is all set up. What I've got is a floodgate at the end here, which is linked to the stream gauge here. And this floodgate here is also linked to this stream gauge. And as soon as they detect contamination, they will both close, sealing this off. And then the water from the source will flow into this bit. So all the bad water will flow through here and out here. Yeah. So we'll see how that reacts to a bad tide and a drought. And then I'll decide if I need to put any more irrigation in here. But I guess we could throw in our farms at this point. Probably doesn't seem like a bad idea to put a farm there. You should probably platform up through here, which is going to be quite a few platforms again. But it does kind of help with access. No, that doesn't help with access. Helps if you get them to the correct height. The plan was to delete this path. To free up that land, and I guess we could maybe throw in another farmhouse here. And again, I'll do the same thing. I'll platform over the channel here just so the farmers have more access. And there's really not any food that I need to grow more of, so we'll just throw in a random mix, I think. Just so that they're growing crops, basically. Actually, going to pause it. There is a reason. Because then I can go back and I can put in the beehives, which I forgot last time. We won't go for 100% coverage. Might as well put that one. No? Because they have to be on ground, don't they? Yeah, that makes sense. We'll just go for reasonable coverage through there. Okay, cool. So yeah, I think I'm just going to let this cycle for a bit, see what happens. I'll bring you guys back. Okay, we have a drought inbound, and I've made one more little change. I've set a disable during drought and a basic of close these during the drought, just to hold water in this, I guess, tube. It's as close as you can get to a pipe, I suppose, in update 5. and we'll just see what happens. Also, because I don't want the builders to get bored, and we ended up very quickly with 8,500 dirt stored up. I've given them a little project to do to tidy this up. So we're building a funnel to direct the bad water off of the map correctly. Because that'll look nicer than that kind of splurge. And we're also still working on building this because I forgot about it. So, yep. But mainly I want to see how all of this reacts during a drought and during a bad tide. I suspect at the start of a bad tide, we might lose a little bit of this crop, but I'm not sure because these floodgates dropping once the contamination gets up a little bit might be enough to drop the water level enough that they don't contaminate, and hopefully the hydration we have is enough. So yeah, a lot of enough. Clearly we need more food storage, but we're going to just end up with a nice looking farming scene across there as things go. And what I should have, and I didn't, but these are set to stay fairly high anyway. So you can see these are set up at 4.5. So during the drought, this should just stay fairly high anyway. So it would just be evaporation that causes these to lower. But let's say this tunnel will have closed, which is cool. I'll keep water nice and high up into this bit as well. And I should maybe do the same with this, but yeah, it'll be alright. Be alright. Yeah. So I guess drought, not particularly exciting. This will take them a while to build if they actually get it built. The punch card situation is not really improving. So yeah, I'm going to let the game run on. I'll come back when we get a bad tide, and then we'll do a bit of a wrap up. I think as we close things out, I've cleared away the farming over here now, because we've got the huge farm. The drought caused no issues whatsoever, and I thought it would be sensible to make use of this space to try and throw in some last minute well-being stuff. So let's just get some stuff built, shall we? So this needs to be on the ground, the agora. So I mean, actually it would probably be sensible to square off the corner there probably, and make use of that ground. So let's do that. We've got loads of dirt. So yeah, I'm thinking we do some agoras, some dance halls. That might be it, because I don't really want to faff around with getting power up here, although power's only there, so maybe. Basically looking for easy stuff to throw in. I don't know. We do have the side platforms here. I'm wondering if we could. No, we can't build those ones off of there. Can we build these? Nope. Okay. All right, let's throw in a few agoras. We don't have that many beavers, so actually, and we could probably now afford to go down to quite a short working day for them, because they're not really doing that much that's essential. So we'll put those in. Yeah, let's unlock some of those. I'll put in a couple of dance halls as well. If we can bump up the well-being, we should probably. I wonder if the Lidos will work if I place them there. A point of much contention amongst the Timberborn community. Is it a Lido? Is it a Lido? Who will know? But that's where it's going. We could potentially make space for some more of them. But, you know, I'm just kind of throwing stuff in for fun now. Really, while I wait for a bad tide. That's the thing that is much more of interest at this point. Wondering about some rooftop terrae, and we might kind of cheese those a little bit. Yeah, we'll see what we can do to cheese those. I think with some platforms, because we've got a load of staircases here. So maybe if we come off of there, and yeah, we can build some platforms there. We can't platform over any of those, so we're a little bit limited actually. We might not be able to get one there. Ugly construction inbound. If that frustrates you, I don't apologize at this point. We're really wrapping this save up, so yeah, you know, here's what it is. That lovely bit of advanced level building there. 39 well-being. Look at that. I guess we could do so much other stuff. We really could. We could throw in some more campfires probably along the back here. That probably wouldn't be a bad thing. Knew I was going to get the gap there. Campfire, there we go. We've got bots breaking down all over the place. But yeah, we're quite low on the campfire bonus. Contemplation spots, we could probably squeeze in a few of those around this area. Well-being. Contemplation spot, like that. Lovely, they can contemplate life next to the sawmill and the windmill. Does it get much better than that to contemplate, you know? The beaver existence and existentialism and whatever beavers contemplate. I don't know what beavers contemplate really, but basically I don't want to try and drag power into this area, so I'm giving them what I can give them without having to mess with power, particularly. So we haven't done the Fountain of Joy. That needs power, though, doesn't it? Ooh. Oh, this is going to be a bit of a big last build. It really is. And it's not actually going to have much benefit if I put it where I want to put it. Ooh. That's still not going to have much benefit, but it'll look cool. It needs... Does it need power? It doesn't say it needs power. It just needs water, doesn't it? And like the logical thing to do would be to build it on the side here for a well-being boost. Yeah, the logical thing to do. And we might build one logically. So if we did monuments, yes. That's probably because of that. Let's get rid of that. This is going to give us a... Confused. Is it because of that? Let's just make this platform much bigger. This is what happens when I don't plan stuff and I just kind of go for it. Bad things happen. Plan your builds, people. So now if we go monuments, so we can put it there, okay? And we can build it, but we probably can't build all of the supporting structure. So what I'm going to do is see if we can sneak a... Let's do some sneaky ladders. To be able to build that. Nothing like a crazy last minute project, eh? I actually think we should do, which is even crazier. And I'm not sure there's a way of achieving it. Yeah, there is. Yeah, there is. Stupid idea number 372 is inbound. One, two, three, four, five. So if we come across from there, then from there, that should be the middle-ish. Can you tell what I'm doing? So I think this has a 3x3 base. Yeah. So no, you can go. Not sure how tall we need to go. Let me water back. We need to be sat just under the level of the water, I think. That's probably about right. So actually, maybe I don't want to do that. Maybe I just want to try and come across from there. No, that's not going to work, is it? Yeah, I can go there. And then double. Yep. And then we need to come across. So much for finishing, eh? With a big old bridge, but not that big. Not that big. So can we go for a normal bridge? Yeah. There. And then if that needs a double platform, we've got the height right. We have. Awesome. So I think that one, we don't need this. But I think if they build that, we can put the big monument on top of it. That's going to take a while, but I've got time, you know. I've got time, so we're going to let them do that. Kind of funny and kind of stupid. And why not, eh? And why not? I've been clearing the spare trees out that were down here. Yeah. So I'm going to let this run and do its building thing. There we go. Look at that. We're going to be getting a nice chunky boost in well-being as they come and do their stuff here. That should be good. Hopefully that'll keep running most of the time with our water levels. Yeah. That. awesome. But more awesomer will be when we have one in here. So yeah, I'm going to let them build that. Hopefully we'll get a bad tide in that period as well. See. A bad tide has just started, but before we look at how things behave with that, I did what I said I wasn't going to do, and I have built a bit more of a well-being area. We are up to 67 well-being, so I put some Lidos along here, or Lidos, depending on where you originate from. I also built some over here, and then I came back over here and was like, why don't I just build them here? These will probably stop working during the bad tide. The lifeguards will close them off. I then brought a power line down here, all the way across and up, so that we could put in a few carousels and Ferris wheels and mud baths. That combined with none of the beavers working now means we've got a heck of a lot of well-being. So not quite maximum, but pretty close. I also put in a few more paper mills and some printing presses to make books. So yeah, we're pretty close to maximum well-being. The other thing that I got built is this guy, and now that I am recording, I used a higher bridge so that they could build it from above, but we can now delete all of that. So let's do that. If I'm going to delete it and recover the resources, I would need to do it one at a time. I should probably do that. So we'll prioritize the recovery of those. But yeah, we've got that now sat in the middle of the thingy, filter thingy. Again, that'll probably stop working. It does stop working during a drought because we pump water out of here, but it looks cool. Yeah. What else have I done? Paused the so this is built. This works. I've paused all of the dirt excavators. Started. We're still very short of logs. I'll come to that. Started building some dams across here to hold water in here so we can plant some trees in here because we're very short of logs. And I cleared all the trees out of here and started planting some more trees along here and here. Anyway, so the bad tide has just started. The contamination is up to if I hit play and then pause again, the contamination is up to 4%. So this has closed. We can get so we can see it. There we go. So this one's closed and this one's closed. So that's going to have isolated that. The bad water should flow into here and through here, and then once the contamination actually increases as normal, this will drop and open. So I think kind of the interesting thing is going to be the water back on, how the crops behave, particularly how those Lidos behave. These should shut as the water gets contaminated. We do have a stream gauge here we can keep an eye on, so currently 0%. I don't know if in this the water goes in layers or not, or whether it mixes. So you can see here we've had some die off due to contamination. And that's okay. They'll recover it. We'll replant. I guess the main thing is going to be once the contamination makes it to here, it forcing this open, because that will drop the level, and I'm hoping it will drop the level enough to deal with this, because this doesn't look quite so good, does it? quite so good. The alternative will be that we'll put contamination barriers around here, which is just why I wanted to see how things reacted in a bad tide. And the bad tides aren't long, so yeah, I'm not overly. Obviously, this is going to have bad water in it the whole time. But again, the level will drop once the contamination actually makes it to here, which is taking a little while, even at triple speed. So it's interesting seeing the effect it's having. It's not really having much of an effect here. So most of the farm is staying pretty good. It's just around the source, which makes sense. But we should now start to see the impact. As I don't remember once it gets above 3%, this will drop and the level will drop in here quite significantly. And that should hopefully address a lot of this, because then the hydration should come from the water pools here and the water held in here. That's my hope. So there we go. So I'm kind of curious to see if it actually drops enough to let the water take over and stop the contamination being an issue. Obviously, it's not here. It's not affecting here. It is a little bit here. But this is contaminated. The contamination's going away. So that seems to be okay. This stuff is all fine and is surviving off of the water here. Okay, we've got a little bit here that's drying. Okay, so that's obviously no, that's okay. That's okay. So really the problem is around this. Although actually they're replanting some of that. So maybe not so much of a problem. I'm happy to accept a few contaminated squares. Not happy. Yeah, I don't think that's a big problem, to be honest. It doesn't like having bad water in it, but yeah, that's okay. Yeah, I think that's okay. Trees are doing fine. Because it's carrots, they'll grow back pretty quick. I guess it could. I could do that and see what effect that has. We should build those quite quickly. Let's just go back over here and demolish the next bit of that. We'll recover those. I'm going to delete the rubble that's around that. We're never going to get to that. Probably need one there as well. Looks like we might need one there. Maybe there and there. Go. See see what effect that has. It's weird that we're getting occasional contamination bits there. And I think that's just drying out fine. Almost working. It's almost working. Okay, so they've planted most of that. Yeah. You're going to plant those ones as well? I think that's good enough. Good enough for me. Yeah. Brilliant. I'm happy with that, you know. I am happy with how that's coping with the bad tide. I think we just need to now watch the recovery. Bad tide is about to end, so we'll get to see how this behaves. I think the first interesting one will be how this all reacts. And my slight concern is that this is going to open this one too early, because this is quite a small area that will clean quite quickly, clean much quicker than this, I think. And you can see this is plummeting, whereas this is still quite contaminated. So, yeah. And I'm assuming that there is still fresh water in here. Maybe not, actually. Maybe that was empty. So, yeah. Actually, let's just pause and have a look in there. No, there is plenty of water in there. That's good. So, I think when this opens, it's going to dump a load of water, and it's going to open at 1%. Actually, maybe we don't want this one to open all the way. Maybe, because normally this is really deep. Maybe we can be smart and have this one, because this is at 1.26. Because this sits at 1. Maybe we drop this to 2. And that way we'll just be pushing. You don't seem to have gone to 2. We go. Yeah. So that should then have uncontaminated water in it. I guess the downside is it's much lower for hydrating all our crops. So let's experiment a little bit with where we need that to be. All a learning experience. I can now see how much of an effect that was having on hydrating stuff. And I guess actually what that's showing is we don't want that one to drop open completely either. So maybe we want that to be that one to be... That's at 3. Maybe that one needs to be at 8 normally, or 7, something like that. So at the moment, that's basically going to mean that no water's going in there. Which is fine. We might lose a cycle of growth. That's okay. Because I'm guessing the water in this is below where the floodgate is at the moment, yeah. But actually we want it to be at, I think, the same level as this. So, which is 2 below that. So yeah, it's going to be 8 that we want that to be at. So we are just going to have to wait for the contamination to clear out. And in case it's been a while, I know. So the way this works, the reason we've got 2 layers of floodgates is that once the contamination gets below 8%, these will come up to 2.5, and it starts holding water to start diluting stuff in here, because that seemed to help speed the process up rather than it all just flushing out. But it does take a while. Over here, this is in water, but is still slightly too contaminated. And it's only a 1% contamination. That is interesting. We have 31 spare bots still, even though I just built some more hauling posts. So I guess we could build even more of them. I did get rid of some builders' huts because we were at one point slightly short of bots, and I felt we didn't need them anymore. I've had the bots put this in because the bad water, when this pumping was going full force, it was splashing across. So we're now just waiting to see how this behaves and hydrates, and then we'll put forester in and plant this up with trees, although the trees are improving now, which is good. So yeah, just need to, I think having this set the way it's set will work just fine. Having it hold water at the level it's going to hold it at. So we just need the contamination in here to drop, which it's about to trigger this one. There we go. That will start to raise the water in here. I found that helps speed up. When this was a huge pool of water, it really seemed to help speed up the decontamination process, because it would take almost an entire cycle and it would never refill with my standard settings. So, yeah. And we might actually see it get deep enough now to have water going here. And I think the contamination will be low enough to hydrate things. But most of the farm has stayed functional. This is working now, which is cool. Yeah, pretty pleased with that. This is now starting to let water through. So we'll see how, and that's pretty nicely hydrated, all of that. So, and given us a very sensible spot to think about building a forester where there is no hydration. And what we'll do is we'll swap that for a ladder, and that should allow us access into that area as well. Yep. So we can plant most of that up with trees. That'll just give us a bit more lumber growing space, which will be good. We really do need it. There we go. And then we'll put in up the top here, because I think these cannot quite actually reach. But now if we go down here, yeah, I think they can reach all of that pretty much. And then if I do a couple at the top, there we go. That should cover us pretty well. I could even maybe speed up the planting with, that doesn't cover that much area, does it? No, we'll just let them do that. Right, let's head back over here and see how this is looking. That's much better. There we go. So you can see now it's cleaned up. These have closed up to the level that they need to be at. This is all filling up very nicely and all behaving. So yeah, I think we are done. Turn that off. I've zoomed out a little bit and turned fog off so we can see the transformation that's occurred on Beavrome. There are no longer, was it 5 craters? I guess there are still signs of, no, there were more than that, weren't there? There was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, I think. So what have we achieved? And it's kind of weird moving the camera around so far out. So this this one was one of our main bad water sources, and we turned it into a bit of a kind of power thingy mabob. It's probably not the most efficient, but I wanted to build something very different to what I'd built before. And it kind of is, and it does the job. It generates enough power during bad tides. The disadvantage of being folktales is we can't force it during bad tides and temperatures. We can't force the bad water sources to be open like you can with the iron teeth, so it does stop during a drought. But thanks to Battery Smooth's flywheels mod, we have plenty of power stored. So yep. We didn't really do a lot to this one. We put in a large aquatic garden, and really this one was an experiment in, can I put in enough pumps to just pump out the bad water during a bad tide? And this sort of works. And we've just started building our new forest. The first big project we did was in the center here to filter our main, we've got our main colony, our only colony here. This was a single district colony. And it was really to be able to filter the water that comes into this lake crater to keep all of this fresh, and it also feeds this one and keeps all of this as fresh water. And then the bad water is pumped out here. This caused us some challenges because I wasn't able to put enough pumps on the bad water side. So one of you suggested this addition, which worked brilliantly. Then down here, because there are no water sources in this one, we managed to dam off this section and get a mine in here with the industry to support the mine, plus some extra industry and the trees that it needs to keep that going. Didn't do as much with this one as we could. Kind of this section of the map is less developed, and maybe if we were going longer, if update 6 hadn't happened, I might have put more forestry in here, because we are just about coping with the amount of trees, and this would have been a candidate for that. We could have maybe moved some of the water around and done something with that. I was starting to think about that here, but I forgot about it. So let's, because it's there, let's blow that up. So yeah, I was starting to think about putting some forest in here. We're done. Let's pause again so we don't end up in the night time. And then, yeah, this one really is just, we've got a big forest around the outside and we isolated the mine. And this is our primary water source. Yep. And then this has been our last project, which this was the largest crater, which we've terraformed away and turned into a big farm and I guess tree farm as well. Yeah. This map has been an interesting challenge, even on normal mode. And we didn't really have any crises in terms of survivability, really, but it's been an interesting challenge. The scale of the jobs has been quite large. It's the first time that I've ended up just leaving the game running for many hours. If you've watched the whole series, you know there's been a couple of times where I've started the game running and gone to work and come home. That did result in a couple of population crashes, but we recovered. And yeah, it's been a lot of fun. So I think the mega build stuff is going to pause for a bit. I want to focus on the update 6 series that we have running, which is on normal mode, and what I've got in my head that might happen, and no commitment on this yet, is that series might morph into me doing some bigger building projects once we're a bit further in. You know, you can already see I've done that power duct thing. Love that word, power duct. And I might start a hard mode series on there because on update 6, because I really prefer playing hard mode, but normal mode lets me build fun stuff. So yeah, that series, I'm going to focus on playing that for a while, and then we might morph that into a less frequent but more like this style, and we'll get into a hard mode let's play. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Hope you've enjoyed this, and see you next time.